Welcome to another tutorial on Multimedia Fusion. This time we're going to make a castle defender type game. This is a tutorial that I found on the Click Team website, and under support and tutorials you'll come to this page, and then you've got intermediate, and there's quite a few games that you can make with some very good tutorials. The game we're going to play is Castle Defender. It's basically a game where the enemy attack your building and you need to fire weapons at them to stop them. Each time they land or hit your building, you lose a life, and that's how the game ends. So we're going to make that, but I'm going to do a slightly different twist on it. I'm going to give it a Walking Dead theme. But other than that, it's going to be similar in principle, but there will be some differences. So the first thing I want to do is open up a Multimedia Fusion and start a new screen. I'm going to make a wider screen, so I'm going to probably make it, let's make it, I don't know, 950. So it's going to be 950 widescreen. And then when you click it, you see it changes there. So that's going to be our playing area. So it's going to be all of that. And I'm going to change the background color, so it's easier to see to start with, to light blue. So there's our game. So now I need to put some objects. So in the local library, under games, under miscellaneous, I'm going to use the jailhouse building. Jailhouse backdrop 1 will do. So I'll drag that onto our screen. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Okay, much luck there. So that'll be there. And the next thing I need to do is put some ground in. So I'm going to go to platform pack, and under outdoor objects there's floating island. I'll drag that on. For that I'm going to put it in the corner slightly beneath so we don't get the bottom of it. I'm going to drag it across. Fill our screen. So there's our ground. Let's put our castle or our defending object here. So there's our castle. That's where our character is going to stand. So you've got the background, we've got the ground, we've got the play area. So now we just need to start to make our characters. I've already made a folder. I've called it Walking Dead. I've got two characters I'm going to use. So these are the two characters I'm going to use, but I'm not going to be using those for a while because we need to make our movements and make our objects. And we're going to be using a lot of active objects in this tutorial. So double click on the background, and I'm going to, under all objects, I'm going to pick active. And this is going to be our defender. So I'll right click it and rename it defender. So I did that by right clicking and doing rename. So there's our defender. So I'll put that there. Now we need to give it a movement. And we're going to do the usual movement, which will be 8 directions. But we only want him to move left and right. So now if I press F8, our character moves, but can move off the castle, and in theory now he should fall. So I'm going to put some more active objects in that we're going to hide so you can't see them. So right click or double click the screen, another active object, double click it, and use the selection tool, highlight and delete, and then using the paint bucket, pick a color, and we can fill it. I can click OK, and that can be our objects to stop them falling off the wall. We'll just put a collision in, and I'll clone that one as well. It's because we need one in the front and one in the back. So if I rename that one and call it front wall, I rename this one, I'll call it back wall. So I'll make them a little bit bigger, just so that he didn't get over them. They won't affect the firing or anything. So this is the back wall, so let's put it there. And this is the front wall, so we'll just put on the edge there so we can stand right up to the edge. Now that we've made those two, we need to put a collision in, so Control E, new condition, and it'll be Defender collides with another object, and we'll pick the back wall, and we'll repeat it. Collision, another object, front wall, and on our character we want to do the movement will stop, so when he collides with the wall he stops. Drag that down, and now if we do F8 you'll see that he stops. We can change the where these walls are later on, but we don't want to see the walls during the game. So if I go to Control M, I'm just going to move this one over a little bit. I'll move that one, it doesn't matter if it goes off the screen a little bit. And then all I do is click there, movement, go to display options, visible at start, and the same, turn off visible at start. Now if I play it, you can't see them. They're on our design, but he stops. So that's our character ready to go. We'll use the drawing tools later to put a different one in. So the next thing I need to do now is make the weapon that he's going to fire. So again, that'll be another active object, and we're going to have to change this. So first thing I'm going to do is make the screen a bit bigger because I'm going to be drawing, and select everything. So use the selection tool, select and delete. And now I'm going to go to my drawing tool, and we'll have a black arrow. So again, I'll make this a bit bigger, it's easier to draw. So let's draw in the arrow. So let's have a look. The arrow initially starts to go up. So that will be our first arrow. And I'll clone that object, and then I'll delete everything, and the more time you spend with it drawing this arrow, the neater it'll look. The more arrows you draw with smaller movements, it will look better. So I'm going to clone that one and delete. And now the arrow's going straight. If you can find an image of an arrow, you can always clone it and rotate it yourself. So you could find an image, paste it in, and just actually rotate a graphic of one. It wouldn't make a difference. Clone that frame. I'm just going to repeat the steps. I won't draw too many just for time. So now it's going to start to drop. And clone another one. We'll do one more. As I said, it would look better if you did lots of different ones, but the movement would be smoother basically. So I'll just put that there. So that's our final arrow, and then if I play the movement, the background hasn't shown us, but the arrow will move quite nicely. So I'm going to click OK. So there's our arrow. We'll put it near the character. It doesn't matter where we start it really. So now we've made the arrow, we need to give it a movement. So go to movement, and we're going to use a new one. We're going to use a pinball movement, and the reason we're going to use a pinball movement is that it's more erratic. It doesn't always follow the same path, so it makes the game a bit harder. We can mess with gravity, and we need to change the speed, else it won't go very far. So I'll put speed into 75. So we've now got an arrow with a pinball movement. We just need to make the new rule now to fire it. So Control E, new condition, and this is going to be a keyboard. So upon pressing, and I'm going to hit the space bar. Upon hitting the space bar, I want to fire the arrow, but I don't use it there. I need to go to create a new object. So I create an object and I pick my active arrow. I should have renamed it, and I'll do that next. So I click OK, and now it's going to ask me relative to. So I'm going to say, actually I'm going to put it there. So it's going to be relative to, and then you just move where you want it to start. So it's going to start roughly there, but when we put our character in, we'll need to tweak those. So I click OK, and Control E again, Control M this time, sorry, just to, one thing I didn't do was the initial direction of the arrow. So I've got the arrow clicked, so we need to go to initial direction. We need to remove all of these and just have probably those. And now you'll see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just remove that. So I've set the speed to 75 and I've moved that. So if I try the game now, F8, I should be able to fire the arrows, and you notice they fire, and that's our firing the arrow. In the next tutorial now, we'll go on and we'll make the enemy, and we'll start to add some better graphics to our game. See you at the next lesson.